Welcome everybody to day 4 of the Scrapbooking Fun Summit. We are excited to be here doing lives. This is our third one for the day. And before we kick off and really get to know more about Bette with Bette Makes, we're just going to thank our sponsors. So our sponsors, I'm going to let Tracy do it this time. Go, Tracy. You can thank our event sponsor. I'll thank our daily sponsor. So you go to the event sponsor.
Our event sponsor is KB Riley, Karen Burniston Designs. And basically, if you're looking for, you want to make a really amazing pop-up kind of card, she is the go-to place. Trust me, it's very it's amazing what she makes. So her designs, yes.
And if you want to take a
Go
look
ahead.
at it, she did a video live with us on Thursday, and she actually ended up bringing out like 30 of her cards. So you can get a really good look at her cards and see what she's doing. She kept getting more and more and more as people asked questions. So we got a really good view of her cards.
Yes.
And I want to thank our day sponsor, which is Tracy. So Tracy here is our sponsor for the day. Tracy not only co-hosts the Scrapbooking Fun Summit with me, she runs her own local virtual store, kind of virtual physical. She goes to lots of events.
Mixed up, eh? I know.
If you're in Canada, Tracy's a great place to go to get supplies. She loves to seek out. We were talking to Lisa Horton beforehand, and Tracy brings in Lisa Horton supplies. She's the person to go to make it easy to import into Canada by going through Tracy. You don't have to deal with all that other stuff. She does it for you, and you can order stuff through Tracy. And she loves to find quirky new things. And we are all Canadian here, and I know Bette likes to support fellow Canadians as well. So it's nice to have a store in Canada that you can buy from and use as someone to help you find the supplies from around the world. So thank you, Tracy, and thank you for going on this journey with me when I approached you and say, hey, Tracy, let's do a summit.
I know. What bus I got on? I took that wrong bus stop, right?
Coming on this journey with me.
I do not regret it, Heather. So there you go.
That's good. And generally, we actually complement each other very well in what we do. So it works out really well. So we want to thank Bette for joining us. Bette has been with us, I think, on all our summits. So we appreciate Bette. We love people returning and doing this. And because we have new people listening and we have lots of people who come and listen to the recording, I'm going to pump you up to a bigger screen, Bette, and start with, where are you in the world? We know Canada, but where are you in the world?
I am in the west end of Vancouver, British Columbia, right by English Bay and Stanley Park. So it's a beautiful part of the world. It is raining today, as it does generally in Vancouver this time of year, but we won't see much snow this year. So that's okay. I'll put up with the rain as long as I don't have to shovel it.
We have a bunch of people in Colorado who are getting bombed with snow yesterday. They get like a foot of snow, and we're like, okay, we aren't there yet. We don't have snow yet either. So we are actually a beautiful sunny day, which is lovely here. So,
and then I noticed today, in one of the last chats that Suzette, who's often been on there, our chats there with us, and she's in PEI, and she was mentioning that it's snowing today. But I'm guessing flurries, but that's all I can say right now. Just I guess. So there you go.
Bette, how would you categorize yourself? And I know that you're going to be, are you a card maker, scrapbooker, a papercraft enthusiast, a crafter? Where do you put yourself in all of that world?
So where we fit in with it is we concentrate on Cricut, but our secondary part of that is paper crafting. So even though we can do some vinyl, some other stuff, we really concentrate on paper crafting. And I guess you can see by my background that we do a lot of paper crafting. Mm-hmm. It's we're working on our next event, which is a 2-day workshop, December 6th, 7th. And a lot of the projects you see behind me are part of that, because once I make them, I hang them up behind me and it gets crowded really quick because we produce a lot of stuff. And of course, my daughter, Karina, she goes by Tika, does a lot of the creative design. And I noticed that Kelly mentioned she loves the digital kits. 99% of those are all created by Tika, and she is an artist supreme, and she hand creates a lot of stuff, and she gets excited about it. I think she's created all the way out to next May. She really gets into it and going. So we love creating projects, and making things and designing stuff. So, our big thing is we like to share everything that we're doing. We do, of course, have a membership that gives you a pass to all our events and a community to come into. So basically, and then we sell our digital kits for $19 a year. So that's kind of where our income comes from. And we do summits as well. We just had one, our holiday craft summit in October, and we'll be doing that again next year. And we're partnering with Catherine McCrory to do our spring craft summit, and I believe she's got it scheduled for February 26th to March 1st. So, that's where we're going with it, and I just love sharing stuff. So, if you want something created, I'd probably like, okay, I'm like Heather, what's the technical thing in behind it? I know Illustrator inside out, so I can create stuff on the fly. And I just want to share it because, even the little thing that we did here, believe it or not, this idea came back from I was taking apart Kleenex or Scotty's boxes that has this old. I thought, oh, what can we do with that? What could we do with that? And then we ended up. And this is one of Tika's digital papers on the front here as well, and she's got them in the back. Those are all digital papers inside there.
It's gorgeous.
But it's a stock photo. We have one that we have, the personal photo in behind too. But just creating these and having fun and figuring out the mechanics of it and then coming up with our own designs. That is the best part in the world. And then, of course, sharing it. I love sharing it. So, Cricut. I have a free webinar coming up next Wednesday, and we're working on using the contour tool, how to make layers and mandalas with that. So, it's paper. I'm probably talking too much about myself. I want to talk about other people.
But I love your pop-up, like your picture of the pop-up card, because the picture is flat, doesn't give that card justice. Like the pop-up mechanism that you just showed for your project that we did. The picture that we use for all our promotion doesn't give it justice because you can't see the dimensions to it.
Well, you can't see the detail until you're right up close like this.
Yeah. And how does it fold down? Does it
just folds down just like that?
Okay.
Then you can stick it in an envelope, or you can actually put it on a scrapbooking page. Just glue this top part down, and then when they open the page, it'll just pop right up.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of versatility. I'm trying to find things that you can use not just for this, but I can use it for this, and this, and different ways.
Somebody asked what size envelope would that card fit in. That would be it.
Okay, let me get my ruler out.
It's always, what size of envelopes do you need?
Okay, so this one you would probably need 8 inches.
Yeah, it's like a 9
by 5.5.
Does anybody ever make, this is a question for somebody who's not a crafter, do you ever make your own envelopes?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, people do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can do them by just a strict fold. Like you could just put this on a piece of paper on an angle and then fold it in the different ways. Or you can design one that fits, and you have to kind of cut it diagonally if you're using a Cricut or another machine so it fits for the size, or a longer mat, or, with the PNG, you just get the outline and just figure out where the fold and score lines are, and it works extremely well.
Yeah, that does. It makes sense because then you're making it to the size of your card, which is
exactly.
And then Heather, because if you're not always doing the Cricut, there's actually a tool that helps you, gives you all the guides of all the measurements to cut, and then where it helps you kind of like I have it here, believe it or not here to show you in my hand, but you can.
Tika has one
it
of
actually
those
works really
boards.
easily. One of those weird memory tools, and then anyways, it tells you how to cut it, what size, and then where to do Bette was saying, the score lines, and fold it, and boom, you're done. So anyway,
if you got just an outline of it, but I forget what the board is called. I had one, but Tika has it now. It's fairly big, and it has enough lines in it. You can just turn it and hit that score line. It's just so easy. I mean, there's tools for everything. I mean, you don't have to make little designs either. You can end up with, I think we are memory keepers as well.
Yep.
It's not memory keepers anymore. We are makers.
Yes. Yeah. Again. But
yeah.
But yeah, they come up with everything for this, for this industry kind of thing.
It's a cute one. So thanks, Bette, for making that. Thanks, Bette. I'm going to make that to send a picture of myself to my sweet grandbaby. Very cute.
That was right. And, just little things like that. Just popping that photo in the background. It doesn't have to be the size of the card. It can be very small. and then just pop it in, or you can do a collage of them and just have them go around. And it's just a great little memory thing, and it'll sit up on the mantle or on a place for display, and then you've got a memory there forever. You don't want to be creating stuff that you get it and then you're going to throw it away. You want to create stuff that people want to keep and cherish and help you keep connecting with them.
Which absolutely makes sense. How did you get started in this world of crafting? I know you.
Well, I started probably when I was 4 or 5 years old, crafting stuff all the time. And it's interesting the way life changes. As you're growing up, you go to Girl Guides, we call it in Canada, or Girl Scouts, and you go to camp, and then you have to make stuff. And I really got into it, and I loved doing it. I sewed all my own clothes and coats and everything as I was going to university. And then I sort of got sidetracked with a PhD in software engineering. I worked for Cisco Systems in Silicon Valley for quite a while. I was a teacher as well. And then when it came to the point where I was teaching at a university, going, this is glorified high school at times. So I'm going, okay, I don't really want to be here. So I decided I would bite the bullet. And I talked to my daughter, Karina, and we said, well, let's try and sell crafts. So that's where we started in 2019. We were going to sell crafts. Well, that lasted about 6 months because packaging and shipping cost more than what the product was we had to ship out. So we thought, okay, it has to be a better way. So we bought a Cricut and started playing with it. And then just because of my sort of software background, I really got into the design space and, of course, Illustrator and making things. I just have to make stuff. I don't know why. It's just my head. I'll get up in the middle of the night and make something. So from there, we sort of evolved into, we had a blog. We did a video a day for 90 days and just sort of built it up slowly from there. And then, started talking to people, and they started following what we were doing. And then we kind of honed in on people buying their Cricut for a first time, or even if they're seasoned, still don't know everything about it and are always searching around for projects. And we just didn't want people, looking on YouTube, trying to find what they're looking for. We tried to be the place where if you don't see what you're looking for from us, let us know and we'll make it for you. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we've morphed. And then, of course, doing summits. And now we're doing 9 workshops a year and, just sort of changing things. And, of course, Tika does incredible work with all of the design. She's an artist supreme. So having her take over my duties now is... She likes doing that part of it too, and she's very creative. But if I've decided to retire, I don't think it's going to happen. I just like doing this.
Well, when you said I just wake up and I want to make something, how many people have that feeling? I know I do, and I don't actually paper craft yet. I always say yet because Tracy's getting me more and more into it. But to just wake up and want to make something, like I think that. Or do something with your hands and put something together. I don't know how many other people who are here with us live or listening to the replay have that sense of I just want to make something. Tracy, do you have that?
It's funny because I'm not a morning person, so that's the big thing.
Well, just want to make
saying
something.
That, I think it might depend where I am, as in if I'm waking up here, whatnot. It's like no, I have work in my head or things that I have to do for clients, right? But if I'm gone sometimes for like the week event that I go scrapbooking and that, first of all, I don't sleep there because we just keep going. But I'd wake up going, I have an idea for that, right?
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, like the design comes to you. And definitely in my dreams, do I design layouts in my case? Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not
So
even just
things
waking
like
up, just the sense of in the day you want to make something. Like you're not going to sit
Yes.
idle. Like, sitting idle is not something I do well.
No, me neither. And there's just this gnome behind me. See if I can point to it properly here and here. I saw some of those. I saw Jennifer making some of them with these designs. I'm going, okay, I've designed a gnome. How can I make it one of these? So playing around with it, I'll tell you, it's like, oh, great, this is a super idea. Oh, darn. that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. And so instead of spending like 20 minutes, this is what I really want to make. 4 or 5 hours later, you finally get what you want. And
Which
to
is,
me, that is that process, and that is so much fun to do.
which I think people need to hear, because that's the process. Like, I think when beginners think they come in or they start doing a craft and they want it to be perfect, and they think it's not good enough. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Bet and many of the other people we've spoken to identify the fact it's none of us are perfect the first time we do it. And in fact, often the best things come out of, we were talking to Lisa Horton and her, what are the inks?
Interference.
Interference eggs came out by an accident. She did not expect,
Yep.
she saw something happen and went, oh, how can I turn
Yeah.
that into something? And that's often how the most things are. That's how Post-it stamps came out, actually.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see stuff. So I'm just going to push this up. This will be a coffee table book when we're finished.
Okay.
And coming up with the hinge here and how to make
Yeah.
that work.
Mm-hmm.
That took a long time. And then what to use for the board, and what to use in the inside, how is it going to line up? And it's just that aspect of, I can do this. So use scrap paper. Just start creating stuff and make it out of the paper, and then figure out the dimension of the design and what's going to cut and work best. And it's not a 20-minute thing. So if you're looking at a 20-minute video and you're doing something from a speaker, that's a 20-minute thing. That's probably a video that was cut down from an hour. So it's really sped up. But that whole process of going through, just even making these and get everything lined up with those and make sure we have the right paper and the picture and all of that, that takes us a long time. Now, you may think to yourself, why would I paper craft? It's going to take all this time. Well, it's the journey
Mm-hmm.
more than anything. And then you get that end result. And to me, making the gifts and the cards and doing the scrapbooking is a really good way to keep connecting with friends and family. And I think that's the whole basis. How am I going to connect with them? Can I give something from my heart that I've designed and made? And the other thing I hear from people is, oh, I don't want to give it to my friends. They're going to laugh at what I made. I wouldn't even worry about that part. They don't laugh. They're impressed with the fact that you would make something for them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that big connection really helps. We have a friend that has he works HR for SkyTrain, and no, for the liquor store here. But he has a side business, and he has a popcorn stand that it goes to various events and sells popcorn. Well, we made him a personal gift. We took a T-shirt and got his picture standing at it on his shirt. And, it wasn't a high quality shirt or anything. And the picture is a little fuzzy, but we gave it to him and he wears it all the time. So, I mean, so it just goes to show you, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be fun. It has to be memorable. Has to be something that is a real connection with the other person. And so, you can go to the store and buy a card.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can do that. But if you're adding your own personal touch, you can take that same card, add a few extra things to it. Then you've got something more meaningful. I've got a few up behind me too that I was playing with, and I made one with a sticker set in the middle, and just.
But there's a couple of things you said in there that I think are great. Is like, one is the connection, right? You're giving something from the heart. And my Tracy was at my 60th birthday party not that long ago, a couple of years ago. And my family, my niece came together and she got an artist to do something, and everybody submitted something about me. And so it's like it's a picture about this big, and it's got something about me. And one of them I would have thought didn't appreciate my handmade things. And yet that is one of the things they put, is they appreciated that I made handmade things for them. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so you don't know, that was because it would have been the person I would have thought, maybe they don't really like these handmade things. And it turns out that's what they appreciate. They appreciate, even if they might not use it, they appreciate the thought and the effort behind it. So, but the other thing you said in there is the process. And I think the process helps keep you young and energized and engaged, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's the as we get older, we think, do I want to do this anymore? Or do I want? And the answer is always, well, absolutely. Don't let go of your creative process, because that is what keeps you going and keeps you, involved with the community, keeps you connecting with other people. There's
Mhm.
nothing worse than say, oh, I'm going to retire and sit and watch TV all day. And then you're not connecting with others. But this crafting, it just, I don't know what it is. It's more of a way of life than it is
Mhm.
something you do.
Yeah.
It is part and parcel of you. And
I think you're right.
It keeps your mind going. It keeps you problem solving. It keeps you doing some really, and then you create something beautiful out of it, no matter what it is. So,
yeah,
and it doesn't have to
exactly.
be complicated. We did and if you're a VIP and you were with us last night, great. If you weren't a VIP, if you're not a VIP or you weren't with us, sorry, I'll get this right. If you weren't with us, I'm going to post the replay. But we did like a surprise with our crop last night, Bette. So we did something slightly different, and Tracy led it. And I don't craft, but we just did something really fun. And let me just flip this for a sec. And we made like little bookmarks out of washi tape. And we made a
Oh,
corner bookmark
cool.
out of washi tape. So everybody was making them and showing them. But just that fun of community of doing something together and doing something simple is what makes this so much fun, right? It's just doing little things and having fun with it. So
Yeah, you just gave me an idea now because I got like a big box full of washi tape and I haven't
Tracy's
used it in a long time. You're like, okay, now I can create something that's
do you still
Yeah,
have yours with you, Tracy, or do you?
I do. I have. Here.
So people made some really cool ones last night. That they were really.
Oh yeah, there was again just to see some of the different ones, right?
yeah.
So this guy and here and
How to use
this
up your
one.
washi tapes.
Exactly. And there's some gorgeous washi tapes. I've seen some come
Oh
in
yeah.
from Japan they're like
Oh yeah.
stickers. They're just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
Kelly, you
yeah.
are a Bette cheerleader today. So there
Yes.
you go.
Thank you, Kelly.
But just that fun but the sense of the creating is fun, right? You didn't take much to do this, and like I said, I don't paper craft, so this was like, hey, I can do this and I can create it. So I think creativity is so much fun, and I love the 3D stuff that you do as well.
Yeah, just just the creativity part of it. Like Kelly was mentioning the digital papers and how she loves using them, and just this card that we did was perfect for it. But I mean, you can do little things. I just decorated this box with it. I'll just grab. I've got too much behind me. I have a small office, so I mean, this is all digital paper too. Is that upside down?
So how do you print your
So
digital paper? What
just gonna
tips do you
ask.
have about printing the digital paper?
Okay, so let's get into that a little bit. I print my digital paper. I have an Epson XP 15,000. So I just put in, either the lighter cardstock, about 32-pound bond that I buy at Staples, and I just print it one side on it if I want to do it that way. And that gives me a big sheet that I can cut into all kinds of different pieces. I can sometimes double side that. But if you bring it into Design Space, and here's the intro, this is what we did with this one. I brought it into Design Space and we had all these different shapes. So what I did is I sliced out pieces of the paper that I wanted, just the sections I wanted on the paper, and there's no wastage. And then I just print and cut the little pieces and put it together like a puzzle. So there's a couple of ways. So you really save on it because you're doing print then cut. Now,
So you print it on your printer and then cut it on your Cricut. Is that right?
yep, exactly.
So,
And then I'm not wasting paper. Well, I guess you have a few edges because of the way Cricut cuts out, but you can do some amazing little things with it when you cut it out. I'm sorry, this is turning into more show and tell than
it's okay. We love show and tell.
Yeah, you are allowed.
all kinds of things. So this is a digital paper, and then this is a small piece of digital paper here. And then we use the digital paper to make the pockets, and there's our bookmarks. And then we have little note cards that go inside. This is just paper. By the way, this is a project that's inside our Cricut Christmas. These are all digital paper pieces, and then we got things in there. I'm scared to take it out while I'm holding it up.
Mhm.
Two little notepad things, and then a different one on the back. I mean, you just have a lot of fun with it. Now that's just one we created, but you can create it all kinds of different ways. And with this one, we did the print and cut thing rather than, because I can shrink the digital paper. So I have a beautiful design on it I love, and my shape's a little bit small, and then I shrink the paper down in Design Space so it fits almost that, and then I slice out just the piece I want. You save so much doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to know more about digital paper, on our YouTube channel under the live, I did a session on digital paper, and it's free on our YouTube channel. So it's Betts Makes Media. And you can go there, and there's a whole thing on using digital paper. So, you'll learn a bit. And then, of course, in our shop, I'm sorry, I'm being a commercial here, bettsmakes.com/shop, we have, I think it's called the Digital Paper Guide or something to that effect. It's free. So you can download that and get some ideas from those as well. So lots of free stuff out there from us.
It's interesting how it evolves, because I'm sure there are people who still want to buy the paper because they want the printed paper, but you can save a lot by just printing what you need to print. So does it ever bleed? Do you worry about bleeding on a printer, or it prints, or is there any hints on that?
No, I've never had a problem with it, and I just use the regular ink in it. If you have an EcoTank printer, that's probably better. There's the I think Epson has the ET2800. It's fairly inexpensive, has the EcoTank in it, and you can keep printing it cheap. My printer was not cheap for refills. It was like $250 every time I needed to refill the ink. So I cheated a little bit, and I bought a piece of software where you put a code in that stops Epson from telling you what the ink levels are. Then I got the refillable inks, and I refill them at the end of every month, and I can print for about $4 a month versus $250. So little tricks and tips. And
I was gonna say, Tracy's a printer person. She knows all about the printers. So
it's okay. Well, you're doing good.
So, a lot, so no waste and no piles of paper. Exactly, Kelly. The only thing that we have, like with this one, is I use these, just a background 12 by 12 solid core paper. Has no design on it. I love the design papers as well. So you need something with a solid core in behind that's going to be part and parcel of it, because you need something solid. And I think I bought these from, that paper came from Prism Studios. So, and that's a Canadian company as well that's brand new out in Richmond here. So
support them. If somebody wanted to start off, this is a good question, actually, and Tracy and or Bet can answer this one. If somebody wanted to start off printing paper and they just have a basic printer, is that good enough, or do they need
No, they don't need anything special when they print it off. Most basic printers, the ET2800 is 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14. And so you can get you can't go wider. My other printer can go wider, but I have yet to have to print it wider. So,
but if you have just a basic,
if it's wider, I do the slice in Design Space, so then it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11. So it just works out fine.
But if you have your basic cheap printer that came with your computer, will that print enough? Will that be good enough for this kind of thing?
Should be, as long as it's color.
Hopefully.
The only thing you can't print on it is, of course, the sublimation stuff that is, there's a lot of that stuff going as well. That's a different paper and a different ink. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to have a second printer that has the special inks for the sublimation, which, you print stuff on T-shirts. Oh my God. So we were playing around with the sublimation paper the other day. So
that's cute.
Cute, eh?
That was hard to do.
That was me not knowing. That's why I was asking, because I didn't know what type of printer you would need to start printing your own paper.
Yeah.
So nothing special.
Nothing special to print your own paper. And that's the beauty of the digital paper too, because you can make it two-sided, one-sided. No, I like this one on this side and this one on this side. Sometimes I buy paper pack. I love the front, but I hate what's on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So this gives me the ability to, make my own that way. Don't get me wrong, I still use the double-sided paper, and as you can see behind me, I've got tons of papers in my shelf back here, and there's a whole bunch of it in this box as well. It's double-sided, single-sided, all kinds. I use that quite a bit as well.
Well, if you have a paper crafter, you probably go through a lot of paper, and you probably have a lot of paper. We know that. You probably have paper you can't remember that you have.
That's right. I think I've got boxes over on my husband's side of the office here. And then in the bedroom, I've got 4 or 5 more of these containers full as well. So I'm
And
never
Heather,
without them. And a lot of the little 6x6 stuff. Dollar store specials.
Tracy.
yeah, no, and Heather, I was just gonna say, like for the printers, you have to remember that if you're doing obviously pattern paper, you're gonna use a lot of your color ink.
Yeah.
So if you have a printer with the 4 individual cartridges, that would be better than the one that has the one tricolor cartridge.
Like me.
Because if you're printing out a blue sheet of paper, when your cyan is done in that ink cartridge, your whole cartridge is garbage. Doesn't matter if you're full of, you're full of the magenta and yellow, right? So you
Right.
have to watch with things like that. And obviously, I'm going to guess that you'd be printing out a better quality than in your draft mode and things like that. So, you will be using more ink. That's
No,
the
yeah, and
main
that
thing,
makes sense. But if somebody just
right?
wanted to try it, right? They wanted to try a print
Yeah,
to
oh,
Yeah,
make
you
just
sure.
could,
try a
I mean,
few
like I
with
said,
what
you
you
gotta
have.
try, then you can see and go, how's the quality for me, right? Or you can say, yeah, no, I want something better. I'm going to go, and odds are, especially if you want a 12 by 12 sheet, you will go into the Epson world. That's where you're gonna go,
Yeah, and that
And
makes
right?
you really
So,
want to, when you upgrade that way, Echo Tank is the only way to go. It's a lot less expensive.
so yeah, you just have to, it's like, and if you're buying a printer for your office, you always have to go, what are we using it for? What's your main,
I don't print much with my printer.
this
You
question.
know, I always wear out my cartridges long before I ever use up the ink. They dry out before I use them. So,
Now
and
that's minimal use.
I don't print because I don't print a lot for work, and I don't do that kind. That's why I'm curious. Maybe I could actually use my cartridges. They always dry out long before I use up my ink. And I don't even have a black cartridge. I kind of bootstrap it and just use the color cartridge because I print so little. But it's like, okay.
Now, if you have a laser printer, and it's color, that works beautifully as well. That's not, like I lay down on with the ink, but the laser printer has, you can get some colors. But if you only have a black and white laser printer, there's a lot you can do with just a black design. Of course, you can color over it, but you can add foiling elements to it with a little heat source and your foil on top,
Sure.
and it'll absorb it right into the heat pressed ink. So, there's lots of different things you can do.
And I suspect there's beginners who don't actually really know what type of printer they have. So that's part of it too, right? Is learning what you have and seeing what you can do. But we definitely see the cool part about the paper, because we have Alicia, who's on tomorrow, who does, people love her paper designs. But the cool part, she's in Australia and you can print it in Canada. That's the cool part. Bette's here in Vancouver. You can print it in the States. So that's kind of the cool part about all this online digital paper. It offers up something more to everybody. So I've been printing online for over a year and still have not refilled. Hi, Bet. You have a hi, Bet from Ivy Meaden. Don't know who that is. You see these when you're like, I don't know who that is, but welcome.
Yeah, you sometimes, I'm looking at the names and going, oh, I know that person. They've been in our summits or our workshops, or I've talked to them via email or our community or somewhere along the line. So it's a lot of fun. It's a large community, but it's a small community in many different ways. So
I agree with that. Yeah, and it is. I mean, we haven't counted recently, but we have last time I counted about, I think, 30 or 40 countries registered. And to me, that is cool. Like, that's having that worldwide thing and bringing people in from all countries. And that's why we may not have a lot of people live, but there's lots of people who watch the replays because of that. And being out and checking all the different countries. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And the thing is, for this project that we're working on, that we created, if you go to that page, I think it's called betsmakes.com/scrapbook-2024. That's the place you download the template.
Yeah.
But also on that page is our freebie. We're giving you some of our digital papers. So go and grab those. That's an important part as well.
Go grab those digital papers and try it. Can you hold your card up once more for a second?
Sorry?
Can you hold your card up once more for a second?
Sure.
So what's cool about that is it could be any theme, right? It would be a wonderful Christmas card. It would be...
Yeah, you can put anything in there. This one just happened to be a dragonfly paper. I think we have a digital set for called Dragonfly Dreams, and we have another one, Butterfly Fantasy, or something to that effect. And that's in behind. And then those are beautiful digital papers. And those ones were print then cut on the machine. So we just cut them out and try to place it so we had a good visual down here. You can see through it. You can see the butterfly on this one, which we cut out and over digital paper. Just get my fingers back there. Another one in behind. So you can see
great.
those.
It's fun.
Had a lot of fun.
I do love the dragonflies. They're nice.
Someone said they were working on your card, so there we go. I was doing your webinar.
Oh, super.
So excellent. And they're great. Could be used for many different things. You could make it Christmassy. You could not make it Christmassy. You can do lots of really good things. So it's cool to think that's literally outside the box, because if it was thought out from a Kleenex box, you are thinking outside the box to get there.
Oh, yeah. Using the Kleenex box is where it started. So the Scotty's box, we just saved all the pieces and then sort of put them in order. And I thought, oh, well, the designs didn't go very well. Let's use it on a digital paper. And it's the same oval shape as in that Scotty's box. So
makes sense. There you go. Things that we do every day inspire other things that we can create, which is kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Bette in the comments? Any questions? We have a little bit more time if you have any, and if not, that's okay too. But yeah, we really appreciate the fact that you've been coming and doing these and sharing. And actually, from the first time we did this with you in 2023, June, to now, I can see an evolution in what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly, because we were more focused on standard stock stuff. Now we're more in the creative side of it, bringing our own creations to life with the same type of material and cards, but now it's more personalized and people can just make it really special for themselves.
Mm-hmm. And personalizing is fun. And that's actually I stepped and I'm doing a presentation in the summit tomorrow about how to use AI to personalize the inside of your card. So how to use artificial intelligence.
Oh, fabulous.
My freebie tomorrow, which you can get tomorrow, excuse me, gives you prompts to put in AI so that you can make a personalized card. So you
can make a lot of your designs there. We'll start with an idea and see what it comes up with, and then take that idea and go into Illustrator or InDesign or whatever we're working with and sort of base it on that, but make it our own. So there's all kinds of things you can do.
Kelly's asking, when does the Advent start? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Oh, yeah. On November 26th, we have a whole Advent series of videos that are coming out starting December 1st. But a few days ahead of time, you get the base all ready for your Advent. And then every day in December, we have a new video coming out. They're all done by Tika. And on the 24th, that ends. That's an Advent. You can't miss it. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny to do it. And then if you decide that you want for $19 a year to get our digital kit series that you get one a month, then great.
That's a great idea.
It's fine.
It's fun to kind of take a spin on Advent and do that. So that's great. What are some of the future designs you're working on?
We have a Celtic design coming up for March. And we decided, because St. Patrick's Day, that we can theme it Celtic. We have one called Summer Dreams coming up. I'm just trying to think of them. We have the whole calendar planned out for what it's going to be in, I think in January, it's all about the Aurora Borealis. So that whole set is all Aurora Borealis. It's just incredible. So you can see we're trying to keep the themes a little trendy, but something that goes with the season. And we're trying to gear our workshops to fit in with what those digital papers are. So we have this is Aurora Borealis month. And so everything we do will fit into that. March becomes Celtic. And of course, in February, we have the Spring Crafts one with Catherine McCrory. That's hers. March, April, I think it's called Cherry Blossom in April or May. One of those two. So just those themes. So you get the more whimsical side of stuff. So just sort of planned all the way through.
That's cool. I love it. And like I said, I can see the evolution of it. Somebody's a member of it and loves it, loves getting the paper. So that's awesome. And Yeah, I love the way the crafting world, as you delve into it and open it, there's just so many different ways you can take it. And paper can do a lot of things.
It can. I've seen sculptures made out of papers. They're just amazing. I took a cruise and all they did was fold paper, like big folds, made them bigger, and then sculpted, like vases or something out of it, and a flower coming out of top, just from the paper, all folded around really tightly, and then just made sculptures with it with an X-Acto knife and just carved out the pieces. Now, I'm not going that far with me on design. I'll make a round thing nice and tight, no big deal, but I'm not sculpting it. But then that's just paper. I mean, it's just amazing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being part of the summit. And take advantage of Bette's freebies. Go check out her Kleenex inspired card. There you go, her Kleenex box inspired card. And check out Bette's papers. Join up for some of her stuff. That Advent sounds very cool for people. So check out Bette. She's been with us. She's a fellow Canadian, and we love our fellow Canadians. And so appreciate to have you here, Beth, and supporting us.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
you very, very much.
We will be back at 2 or 3, whatever time we're back at.
Sorry, I'm going to go look quickly. 2 with Florette Bloom.
Yes, we're back with Florette at 2. So we will be back. And if you have any questions or comments, there's some comments going on in the Facebook group. We're doing our best to answer all your emails, and we will get to them. If anybody's freebie's not working, just be patient, ladies. Things don't always work the way we want them to work. We spent Bette will know this because we're technology. It worked yesterday. It doesn't work today. So it just takes a little bit of a time for us to work through them. But we're here. We will support on all of the things that aren't working. So, and if we don't find your comment, there is a thread in the site to put things at the large. Sorry, if you have an issue, put it in the issue thread, because we can't find all the comments. There's too many comments for us to go and find every single one if you're putting it on a thread that's not at the top. So let us know. And thank you again, Bette. We're excited, and we look forward to seeing all the cool creations you're going to create with your workshops.
Thanks. See you, everyone.